Hello everyone, I'm back with the video to show you how to install the Kima Ocean Wave. Here's my braid pattern that I use. I use a beehive in the back and individuals going back to the front, back from the front. I use 3 packs of Kima Ocean Wave. These are the 2 packs in each one of these. So the color that I used was jet black, which is color 1, and then the brown was the color 30. I used all 4 out of all the black hair. So like I said, they come in 2 packs. So it's 2 per 1 pack. And I used all of the black and then a little of the brown. And the edge control that I use to lay my hair down is Bellatique. The edge control that I use is Bellatique. I will list it in the description so you can see how it's spelled. And it usually doesn't turn white. I have problems with edge control turning white in my hair, but usually no one's hair turns white when I use it. So I'm going to show you how I install it. I just pull it through 3 times, and I take a tiny section and wrap it around in a knot about 3 or 4 times. And the reason that I do this is because this hair is so silky that if you just knot it 3 times, it can slide out as people comb the hair. Because this hair, being that it's synthetic, is one of the hairs that I like because you can take a big comb and comb through it versus other synthetic hair you can't comb through. So the small knots around the big knot, what it does is it keeps the hair from sliding down. It keeps those big knots from slipping loose. Now, unless you want to take smaller, I like to move fast, so I use bigger knots. But if you want to just tie tiny knots the whole way through, it's going to take you a lot longer, but you won't have to make all these little knots in there like I did. If you say, Mocha, maybe I can make more knots, you can, but as you get to the top of the hair, I like the hair to look as least like crochet as possible. So making all these knots in there are going to make it look like crochet. You want it to look like, or at least confuse people on what do you have in your hair. So in the front, you will see that I use different knots to make it look more natural. You will see most of the crochet videos, I do the same knots in the hair unless it's hair that's already braided or twisted. So if you want to see this process slowed down, you can check out some of my other videos where I slowed it down. But here I'm going to speed it up faster so you can at least see how I put the hair in. here is where I do the knots different so it look more natural. I'm taking the needle upward, and then when I pull the hair through, I'm going to pull half of the hair through and only twist it through the knot twice instead of taking the whole hair and making those 2 loops in the back or 3 loops in the back. I'm only taking half of the hair and making 2 loops. And then once I pull that hair upward to make that knot, I'm going to take a tiny piece in between the middle and tie it 3 times, or maybe 3 or 4. And it makes a difference whether you take the crochet needle up versus down, because if you take the down, then the knot is going to be on top of the hair. So in order to put the knot on the bottom of the hair, the needle has to go upward through the braid. And here it is, I'm doing it again so you can see it, where I am pulling the hair, half of the hair through the knot twice, and then I'm going to just grab 2 random pieces that's in between the hair to make a knot, and which will hold the knot at the root on there. Like I said, this hair is silky, so 2 knots is just not going to hold it. Maybe for hair that's curlier it will work, but hair like this is looser. Eventually some of the knots will start slipping. As far as how this hair does, it lasts pretty good. I usually have people leave it in for 2 months, and I don't usually wear it for that long. But when I have clients that get this done, they will get it done and keep it in for 2 months. And 2 months later, it still won't be tangled up. It still looks even more natural. So here I am doing the same thing. I'm only putting a little bit of the brown at the top, but I'm making smaller pieces and just doing the same thing, grabbing half the hair, pulling it through twice, and then taking 2 pieces and creating a knot. So now I'm just going to cut it in a bob. This is the easy way to cut your hair into a bob, or if you can't see your hair, or if you just don't know how to cut, just put your hair in a ponytail and cut going upward and make everything even, and then you can just go in and clean up the cut after. So here I got the sides how I want it already, and I'm going to take the front and match up the cut with the rest of the hair. I could have really just left it like that and had an asymmetrical look, but I wanted the other side a little shorter, so I'm just going to go and cut the other side of it. When you're cutting wavy or curly hair, you don't want to stretch the hair and then cut it, because when you stretch it and cut it, it's going to just cause it to be shorter than what you wanted it to be. So usually if I'm cutting wavy hair, I just barely grab on it just to at least take my hand to make sure it's even and then cut it. But how I'm doing it now, I stretched it a little too much, so for me it's a little shorter than how I wanted it, but it still works. Now you can see that I can flip the hair to any side. You don't really see big knots in my hair in the front, which is what I wanted. I wanted the natural look, so when I pull it back, you won't really be able to tell what is in my hair. It just kind of look like tree braid. So this is how you get the finished look. I'm just gonna play around with it a little. If you have any questions, you can leave in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.